Yeah, what up, what up, what up? Dilio coming to you live with another broadcast. I have not been around for a while, but I'm back. There's some things I want to talk about on this live stream. And I know that it's late right now. It's 10:03 p.m. Everybody who is working is probably in the bed or watching the game or doing something, but they're not online. But it's my intention to come on here and just to get back into live streaming and finding a way to rebuild from the bottom, rebuild from scratch, and build something as though I'm speaking to 10,000 people. But right now, I might be speaking to zero people on the live stream, but I'm definitely going to try and pretend as though I'm speaking about to 10,000 people on here. There's a few things I want to talk about tonight on this live stream. And the first thing is probably going to be about Timberland, this whole AI thing, Suno. I want to talk about returning back to the remakes because I was reflecting on that and figuring out how to move forward in that process. I'm going to talk about failure and transitions and also just shining light on myself and just thinking about how can I be better and more responsive to those who reach out to me on these platforms and sometimes how challenging it can be when you're working a 9 to 5 and strategies on how to overcome that and just going to reaffirm who I am and just sort of encourage you, whoever you are out here watching this thing. I'm definitely going to talk about some interesting things. If you got some interesting things to talk about, we could talk about that too as well. But the first thing I want to talk about is Timbaland and the whole situation with this AI thing. I think I saw some clips where Timbaland had stole like a production track from someone uploaded the Suno, and I find it surprised. Well, no, I don't find it surprised because when I think about Timbaland, I was probably a big fan, like a lot of people, of Timbaland back in the day in like the late '90s and the early 2000s, when he was basically killing the game at the time, and has done so for a long time. And I think in today's day and age, he may be more expensive than people want to pay. I don't know if he's willing to bring his price down to do production, or maybe he doesn't have to do production, or maybe he's doing production in ways that we may not know about. Of course, we don't know the whole thing with Timbaland. A lot of feel like he's sold out or turned his back on independent artists. I don't really know if he ever did sort of had independent artists in their interest in the beginning. I'm not 100% sure that he was the one that wanted to put everybody on. And I think it takes a lot of work to put everybody on. And I know that a lot of times, us as human beings, we like to find the easiest path to the goal that we want. We are lazy by nature. We want the easiest path to weight loss. We rather take Ozempic than to do cardio and to monitor our calories or hire a coach. We'd rather put in a prompt or something into like a Suno to do our music. There's a whole lot of different things we like to do that enables us to move shorter and faster into the situation. There's a whole lot of things going on there. And I understand that. And I'm not hating on that. But the problem is that when you do that, you will sort of alleviate some of the skill sets that you need to acquire to make yourself a better producer or a better artist. When I look back at Timbaland and some of his older footage, of course, when YouTube came around and we were finally able to see a little bit of the behind the scenes footage, and I'm sure that in today's day and age, if Aaliyah was alive and Timbaland was alive and this was back then and we had the culture that we have now to film all of this stuff, we could totally just film it and there would be a lot more footage. But one thing I really haven't seen Timbaland do a lot of times in the short clips that I've seen him hang out with Busta Rhymes, he might have had his ASR or the Triton. I remember that famous clip of him and Jay Z. Is I haven't really seen him play the piano. Like I haven't really seen him play a chord like that, and which makes me think that he leans more heavily on being a sample-based producer than a MIDI production-based producer. So I think there are two different producers, and there's a hybrid. You got your sample-based producers where they don't play anything. They take all their sounds from other options. They may take a loop from vinyl or a loop from a loop pack these days. They may take any type of sample and sequence it and manipulate it with the tools inside the sampler to make the track go however they want. And then you got MIDI production producers where they don't really sample and they play a lot of stuff, but the only issue is that when they play a lot of stuff, it may sound a little bit more like MIDI. It may sound more like um, MIDI. And there's advantages, like for example, when you're dealing with a sample based producer, their sound is going to be so much. I think their sound quality and how it sounds is going to be so much more intact because they're taking from stuff that's already been mixed, already been processed, already has a character added to it. When you're playing everything from scratch as a MIDI production music producer, you are playing it all from scratch. A lot of these sounds that are on these modules are very pristine, very precise. So you don't have the option of really. So it's going to sound super clean. And sometimes there could be a situation where that super clean sound is what's in style. And then that lo-fi wash sampled sound from old vinyl, and which is interesting because in today's age, we got so many plugins now that wants to make your pristine sound like it's like an old tape cassette that's been sitting in the closet over the last 20 years and really has a magnetism back to play back anything. So yeah, these two different categories of music producers, and then you got those that are hybrids, which I believe I am, and probably the best type of music producer that can sample whatever you want to sample, but then also play whatever you want to play. And I think when you're in that situation where you can do both, I think you're a lethal weapon when you're able to do both. But if you can only sample, like I said, you get pretty far sampling everything, as we've seen a lot of producers do. I was just at a Wu-Tang concert not too long ago, and I saw that. Now I was just thinking about the Risen, how he used the SP 1200, and how that was a purely sample-based production, but yet sold millions of records. But now I think about maybe Babyface, and he might have had some drum samples up in there and things of that nature, but he still played everything. But I could tell, and he still played everything to today's point. Like I remember when he did that tribute for Jamie Foxx, he's sitting there on a piano. Also, Teddy Riley, he's sitting there playing a guitar that he had bedazzled like none other thing I've ever seen before. It was really cool. So you got these two different type of producers, and then you got the third type, which is a hybrid of both. But when I think about Timbaland, I don't think Timbaland was a MIDI production playing type of music producer. Like, I don't see him really coming up in the backgrounds of like church. He may have grown up around it, but when I think about what he did, as far as what I've seen and what I heard, a lot of his stuff was very sample based, but it still had a sound. So we can't write off being a sample based producer no more than we can write off being a MIDI production based producer. And like I said, when you're able to combine those two, it's awesome. But I think the community, if I could make a comment on the community, which I don't know, because I don't know exactly who the community is, because I guess that's all of us and none of us at the same time. You don't really, I don't really see what's the fuss with Timbaland doing things. Like the truth of the matter is, it's like we want Tim to really sort of come back and lift up the music producer community as an independent host. But at the same time, Timbaland doesn't really owe anybody really anything. I think that Tim has made his money. He's in a position of leverage, and he's going to use that. And if you got a tool that gives you that dopamine spike like AI, see, AI is such a big thing right now because it's just screwing around everybody's dopamine until we get to the point. And I think that Neil deGrasse Tyson said it best, like the internet's going to get to the point where its value is going to go down when it comes to the truth. And the reason that is because it's so easy to recreate images and sounds that look realistic. And if we know that this is happening on the imagery that we see on our phones, we're not gonna believe or trust anything that we see. We're not gonna believe or trust it. We're not gonna believe it. We're not gonna trust it. And so, with it being easier to create anything you want to create, we're not gonna believe it. We're not gonna trust it. We're not gonna do that same thing with this music. And it gets to the point where I think it's cool, but when you're at a place where you can just do a prompt and create a song, of course, as someone who plays from scratch, who spent a lot of years developing that skill and is in transition of trying to perpetuate that skill even further, it could be frustrating when you see someone says, "Oh, I'm going to make a song and just type something. I'm going to get the song I want." This is probably how photographers feel and videographers feel and graphic designers feel. It's like, well, I took all this time to learn Photoshop and Adobe and all these sweet plugins and processes, and now people are just doing stuff on a spot because it's cheaper and it's faster. Just like the self checkout line, it's cheaper and faster. See, we are a species that likes efficiency and speed and the instant gratification. And the faster you get that gratification, the faster you're going to get to that goal. And I think that was Timbaland was dealing with. I think that He found something that gave him that mental gratification. It's like, oh wow, I could do this. Okay, cool. I feel cool. But I don't think we should be looking to him because he sort of kind of pioneered what he wanted to pioneer. He's done what he wanted to do, and he's going to continue to do it. Like, who's going to stop him? And if he doesn't use this platform, then somebody else will. And it does fall under copyright infringement. That's another big thing about Suno is the copyright infringement. And it's a plausible thing that all those artists that would submit music to Timbaland, he could take those clips, feed it into Suno, and come out with something new. And when I was in my conversation with Busy Workspace, DJ Payne One, um, a lot of the other cats, they, I said it there, and I'll say it again, that all this stuff is a tool. In war, there is no play nice or play fair. It's who has the weapon first. When I think about the transatlantic slave trade, I would think that if the Africans in Africa had rifles and technology, then the people in that community may not have been enslaved. There may have been some different things going on in that work in that government at the time. But because Africans cannot protect, to me, from my perspective, and I could be wrong, and I'm okay to be wrong, but from my perspective, when I think about this whole thing about the slave trade, I think about it from a technological standpoint. Um, I don't think the Africans had ships. Now, the reason I don't think they did it with the Chinese is because the Chinese had their own armies and stuff too. And it's like, well, we better trade with these folks. We ain't about to enslave none of them. Now all communities have their issues, but when I think about the African people in the continent of Africa who came upon that coast and stuff like that, and I heard about stories about slaves being sold by Africans, I think about the difference of technology. But if they had their own military that could fight them off, say, "Yo, we ain't doing this," same thing as far as like the whole discovering of this continent. If the inhabitants of this country had sort of a military that was on par with the English government, there would have been a different kind of war and situation, but that wasn't the case. So the person who is first to the technology typically will have the advantage. Now they do lose something with that. I think the community they lose and things of that nature. There's traditions and there's stuff like that they lose. But as far as Timbaland goes, like I uh I learned on my own that Timbaland is a man. Timbaland is a human being. Um, I really didn't like I was turned off when I was watching him on Twitch and people were paying him to listen to music, and he just didn't really have nice things to say about some people, just the way he did. I was like, okay, I just don't know if I vibe with that. But people were paying for that because he's Timbaland. A lot of people will pay money to get into the door around people, but the only problem is that I guess that's cool, but you don't really get the respect or the connection that I think is really needed to make an impact in your life to change. I think that it's a people thing. You got to connect with people, real life people. I think that's the important thing you got to do. You can't do that uh, paying to have your stuff played on Twitch. I don't think that's the case. I can understand from a monetary standpoint. Yeah, I guess I would charge, but I don't know. It seems like he's left a lot of taste in people's mouths. If you're in this chat and watching this, I would love for you to chime in and let me know that you're here. Or do I need to just start a whole new YouTube channel? Because I don't want you guys to just watch. I would like to at least hear from you, at least see that you're there. Just let me know that you're there. I am getting on here to talk because I haven't done that in a while, and unfortunately, a lot of life problems have been getting in the way for me. Hey, Viral, what's up? How you doing? Thank you for chiming in. Yeah, I just didn't like that vibe of him talking down to producers who are just trying to get heard, and I have to remember that. Say if I start listening to tracks again, playing tracks, what I want to do to maybe build the community around is to start listening to people's music again if they just simply want to be heard. Okay, Anthony, thank y'all for chiming in. You guys may be working, but thank you so much for chiming in and just typing something. Just let me know you're there. That means a lot. You don't have to hold a call conversation if you don't want to. But just thank you for letting me know there. But I think it's very important. Like, say, if I was a big music producer, I think it's hard for people to really forget where they came from once they've gotten to a place that's so consistently good that they have forgotten what it's like to not have that. And I think a lot of people are subject to do that unless you like really trying to take time to make sure you remember how tough things are before you came into a place of favor. You're not going to really remember and have the same empathy and passion and compassion for those who are in that position you were before you got to where you're at now. And I think a reason why that is because you're too busy enjoying the new position that you're in. You're not trying to count your blessings like, oh, and a lot of people count, but you're not going to feel that pain you felt when you were starving, that pain you felt when your numbers were low, that pain you felt when you weren't getting any views or spins or jobs and stuff like that, that pain you felt. You're not trying to take time to remember that pain that you felt once you finally made it and you got all these plaques on your wall and all these people wanting to hear what you think about their music. That pain is gone. And when you don't feel certain types of pain in a long time, you forget that that pain existed. And you move as though you never had that struggle. And I think that, to me, that's what it looks like Timbaland um, was doing on his Twitch streams and this whole Suno thing. And I don't know. It's like I'm a fan, but it's like I've actually kind of just lived in my reality that, Tim is Tim, and I'm going to keep doing what I need to do and pushing this thing forward the best I can. You got to count your blessings, and you got to try not to internalize your failures in life or the challenges that you're going through. Like, I'm going through a transition right now. This transition is going to give me a little bit more time on my hands. So with this transition, it's like, okay, you got some more time on your hands. What are you going to do with it? And I think deep down inside, I know I know what I'm going to do with it, but I do have to get organized, way more organized than I ever have been before, so that I can be the most effective I can be in this world, in this current state of affairs with things. But I think it's important to just remember who you are and what you're doing. Um, just reaffirm who you are, what you're doing. But I think we gotta really like just leave Timbaland alone, because when it comes to this AI thing, who's going to stop him? No one's going to stop. There's always going to be someone that wants to push the envelope forward that does not care. I mean, if we think about the track, or we think about Spotify, like Spotify was never about putting the artist first. It was a platform. They may try and give you some tools, but there's so much controversy around Spotify. Like, is this for real? Is that for real? Are these streams for real? There's so much deception and like mystery around Spotify. We just don't know what the hell. We don't know what the hell is going on Spotify. And there's so many scams about spins and streams and all of that stuff. We just don't know what is going on. But it's such a big deal because it positions itself to be a very popular thing. A lot of people listen to Spotify. In the workplace, I see a lot of people listening to Spotify, and it brings music to the people, the general public. But one thing that I have noticed, that it's still a very profitable feeling. Yeah, I see you after you said I feel and agree with you on that feeling of pain on certain things for a while and or haven't. Yeah. And so when I think about music and money in music, the streams don't pay a lot. The value of the stream is so devalued. But what I have also noticed is that concerts still sell a lot of money. Merch still, I need to come out with some merch too. If I get my brand back up some kind of way. uh, Merch sales, concert ticket sales, people still want to go see shows. People still want to go see shows. Like, perfect example, Wu-Tang. But then I also saw a documentary about Travis Scott and Astroworld, and how even though 8 people died at his show, he is still out here making millions for himself and for the ticketing companies. And the reason that is because even though bad things happen, people still want to go see a show. People still want to see a show, but because people are experiencing bad things, that's why you go see a show to escape the pain of bad things happening in your life. Life sucks. Hey, let's grab somebody to go see a show. And if you are, and that sort of goes into my philosophy about things, because if you really want to see where the money is in music, I don't know if it's in streams. No, no, let me land somewhere with that. I don't think it's in the streams, but I do think it's in live performance and merchandising and experiences. If people pay money for experiences at these venues, even down to the bottom level, people pay money for experiences. People pay money for shows. People pay money for merch. When Wu Tang was in town, I wanted to pay money for a shirt, and I don't even listen to Wu Tang like that. But as I learned that, oh, this is their last tour, I'm going to buy one of their shirts. And it was probably the most expensive t-shirt I have ever bought. And I bet you that thing didn't cost as much as it did to charge for it. But because it was part of the experience, I spent that money. It was like a spell was over me. And I'm spending money on this really expensive t-shirt that probably isn't that expensive. And probably if you wash it 2 or 3 or 4 times, it's going to be a faded black color. And so it makes me want to reflect on what kind of experiences that I can sell or do to help me rebuild this business from scratch, because I have a business, but the business needs a lot of work. It needs some it needs some work, it needs some love, it needs some TLC. It can't be so dependent on this YouTube channel anymore. And I think that my mistake is depending it on this YouTube channel. I know that this channel algorithmically suffers because I know it doesn't reach as many people as I like it to. Uh, Although it should. I mean, as a content creator, a lot of people will lock in on my subscriber count and think that I am big stuff because I have a nice subscriber count number. But what they ever do is really look at my views in my videos. And I'm not saying that I'm probably like a hated content creator. And I know I don't make content as much as I used to. And it's because of a feedback loop. It's like, okay, why go hard on content if people don't view? And I used to view more. And there's a whole lot of weird things going on, especially on my channel. And I'm assessing myself to think, what can I do to make things better? So I have to think about that to be a good content creator and just to be supportive of anyone who watches me. If I can provide some sort of inspiration or guidance, I want to do that and really connect and build a new community from scratch. Like if you guys are here, you're a part of the community where there isn't a lot of people. You're a part of the community that isn't here or that I was here. And I definitely would like to do more remakes. I think I'm going to have more time to do more remakes. And speaking of, let me talk about remakes. I know that remakes, I've had sort of a mixed feeling about remakes because I will do a remake and it may be something you want to see. Um, it may be something that you don't want to see. But at the end of the day, the remakes reach the world the most. If anything, of the content I've done, the remakes were probably the most impactful. However, I do feel like a channel dedicated just to remakes would probably be the best. Um, I think that's how a lot of people found me. And if that's what they like to see the most and they don't want to see a whole bunch of different stuff, I'm not going to call it crap, then I should lean in on that and find a way to create an experience on YouTube for that. Because these remakes take a lot of hard work to do. And it's up to me to maybe discover or develop ways to do this more easier and more efficiently. Ali, Anthony, you said, Ali, I was trying to think of a way to feel certain feelings for a long time. And that's okay. Maybe you need to write down what you're feeling. Journaling is a gem. Writing your feelings and thoughts on a piece of paper is a thing. Checkers, if you're there, what remake do you want to see? If you write your feelings on paper, like on a journal, it'll help you become more self-aware of yourself. Excuse me. It'll make you much more aware of things, or aware of why you do the things that you do, from eating certain type of foods or doing certain type of habits. It always comes from somewhere. So, taking time to analyze your thoughts is very important. Can you prop your album uh, at the back of the remakes, like link your gear? Absolutely, absolutely, Anthony. I think that's a great idea. Uh, I had a crazy thought, and I'll share it with you guys. I had a crazy thought because, like I said, I may be having a lot more time on my hands than I normally used to having, which enables me to do a little more extreme stuff on this channel that I have not been able to do before. But one of the things that I want to do, see, someone's calling me and I'm live. One of the things I want to do is I had this crazy thought, but it's not very easy because it may mean that I may not be that great at it. Um, yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, what if I did a remake a day for July? What would it take for me to do a remake one day, like film it like on a day and then upload it the next day? Would I get it done? Is it possible? Is that's some work. That's like I would have to I would have to really work hard on that. But with it being a situation where I might have some time on my hands, it may be seriously a thing. Another thing I may try and do is come on during the noon time. What I notice about a lot of YouTube content creators, what they do is they come on at noon. And for the last 5 years, it was impossible for me to do that and not be liable to get in trouble for something. Because why am I on YouTube streaming when I'm supposed to be at work? So I'm definitely going to try that out. I'm going to see what that feels like in a week or so. What's it like to stream in the middle of the day at noon versus 9 and 10 o'clock at night? But that's good. What's up, James Antoine? How are you doing? That's good that you journal and decode and cipher your dreams. That's good. You say you can. Well, keep journaling, man. You're gonna come through some breakthroughs. I think that's great. If you're see journaling your dreams helps you develop the skill of remembering your dreams. Sometimes your dreams are trying to tell you something. So I think that's good that you journal your dreams. It's very important to journal your dreams if you can, or just to journal. If you're really trying to make changes, journaling can kind of help you get aware of what's going on. It's like, okay, what's going on here? What's happening, right? So journaling will definitely help you to decipher yourself or get organized or build something better. So definitely journal your thoughts if you can. It's a necessary thing. And that's what I'm going to be doing. It's just experimenting. But I know a lot of people like the remakes, but I don't know if I should do them on this channel or put them on a channel directly just for remakes, because it's just so hard to land that target and land that plane. Hey, Christopher Lamont, how are you? What's up, chat? I know that's the slang we say now. What's up, chat? Y'all doing all right, chat? What's up, chat? Is that engaging if I say that? What's up, chat? Yeah. Now, let me see what these analytics, because I was dropping a bunch of shorts at the beginning of this month, and they got my views up, but it didn't really. Actually, got me some subscribers too. But sometimes if I watch the analytics too much, it'll get a little tedious and a little. Golly, so those shorts are really pumping up the numbers. But then when I stopped making content, the numbers went right back down. Ooh-wee. Interesting. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. So yeah, I got a lot more content to do. But journaling is a great tool if you're really feeling like lost in life, or you're feeling sad, or you're feeling like depressed, or you're just not feeling yourself. Try to journal about it. Like I'm turning some of my stuff into music real soon. I have an EP coming out very soon. I think I've just decided on some artwork for it because I have a lot of music to release. And journaling. Just take some time. Don't be afraid to go to Walmart, get yourself a nice small journal book. They got them there. And get yourself a journal. It will help you navigate the challenges of life. And what's cool is that you can write about something really bad in your life, and as you keep living and as those situation changes, you're going to be in a situation where it's not going to matter, and you're going to be in a better situation. You can look back where you came from, and it helps you to really appreciate where you are today versus where you were a month ago or 2 months ago or 3 months ago. Or some of the negative feelings that you were feeling. Right? So never be afraid to journal. It's a very powerful tool. I think that if people knew the power of journaling, people wouldn't turn to TikTok and Instagram to talk about their personal business and to really make some bad decisions on there. I really do. I really do. Because there's a lot of people. I was chatting with Chat GPT, and it's like the people who have the greatest issues are the loudest on the platform. And because they are the loudest on the platform, they get a lot of the attention. And when something gets a lot of attention on the platform's going to try and throw it to more people, more and more and more people, over and over and over again. It's like a chain. So that's not necessarily the base thing, but I think remakes are good. Um, if you guys want to see more remakes, what kind of remake would you want to see? What would you want to see? In the morning, that song's coming out. Anthony, get ready. That song is coming out. You know what? I should listen to it. And you don't have to type in caps. I see you. It's just 11 people in here. I'm not gonna miss what you say. um, I should listen to it and probably give my thoughts on it. I should probably listen to it and give my thoughts on it. You got me very curious as to what this new album is called. I think though I think people are, how do I put this? I think people are just so like wired to knock like stuff. Like for instance, the Lil Wayne album, and I ain't gonna front. It didn't really capture my attention. Um, it wouldn't capture my attention when I listened to it. I was like, oh, okay, this is the same old thing. It didn't really capture my attention. But I don't know. It just seems like people are just so inclined to clown. Um, do at the same time music, but your flavor. Yeah, So I think that Lil Wayne really suffered a lot of criticism from today's stuff. I need to figure out what's this new Jagged Edge album called. New album. I should review that though. All Original Parts, Volume 1. All Original Parts, Volume 1. Yeah. Good for them. I mean, that's the problem. I don't, man, as far as R&B and hip hop, like we are rough on people who are not kids on music. Like, but I think there's a little bit more rigor room in the Southern Soul era, to be honest with you. I think there's a little bit more wiggle room on that. But when it comes to this music and stuff like that, there's a lot of ageism. Uh, Definitely not as nice as I'd like it to be. But yeah, in the morning it's coming out, Anthony, very soon. I finished it. It needs to come out. Nothing has really changed from the vocal direction. It's actually probably the same thing as you heard. It's just now it's either going to be on a CD if you want to buy one, or you can stream it on your favorite platform. But the EP is done. The EP is done, man. It's done. But I was just dealing with some transitional things from the workplace that needed my attention. Um, and now closure is coming upon that. So I'm going to be able to put a little bit more energy into my music. There's always a tug of war. If you work a 9 to 5, a corporate 9 to 5, or there's always these, like say I can only imagine like having a family, the balancing the time between that and music. But a corporate 9 to 5, man, not not ideal. Um, I don't want to say too much um, right now, but I will say um, I'm gonna have a little bit more time on my hands just for a little while. What's up, Love Matters? How are you? But I'm able to get this album done. I finished the artwork, and I need to go to CD Baby and click the button and say produce upload, and get this out there to you guys so I can work on the next EP and work on the next EP and work on the next EP, right? Yeah. So that's okay. She said what she said. Remake. I didn't see if she said what she said. If you remake that, is that by Jagged Edge? Love Matters. You deleted a message. I saw that. Why does my camera keep coming on for? I'm telling it to stay turned off. So I have an Osmo that is having a mind of its own. I turned it off. Now I need it to stay off. Let's see what happens. I felt it vibrate. I'm going to be shooting music videos with this thing too. Okay. Well, Christopher, I will listen to it and see. It just turned back on. Why did it do that? I'm not sure why it's doing that. Not sure why it's doing that. Yeah, we are living in dark times or just transitional times. Transitional times. But one thing I love is to make music through all this stuff. I love to do that. Oh, buddy. If you're going to learn something about me, is I love to make music. And we have other obligations that can really get in the way of that. But you gotta make that paper. You gotta make that paper. Can I get an amen? You gotta make that paper one way or another. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to live this thing called life. Yeah, the bills are dominant, but you just got to find ways to organize your time. Me, I have to become more organized and more, I got to become more organized and intentional with my time than ever before. Like, this is the time. And I don't want to let life prevent me from putting out music because that's what I've been doing for the last few years. I have a lot of songs that are done, that are almost done, and I haven't put out because of fears or because of time constraints and all of that stuff. A lot of things that try to seep in over time that try to talk you out of creating art and music. But this is what I do. Sometimes your situation can make you feel like you're not worth it. Sometimes your situation, what's up, Alexis? Your situations can make you feel like uh, things are bad. So you have to turn it around. But the thing is that bad situations actually make for great music. So if you hear me releasing some songs about some struggle and some pain, it is only me simply using music as a tool to get through pain and struggle, heartbreak, rejection, struggle, confusion. Because I sing about that stuff too, just not on this latest EP, but the next EP, um, we're gonna deal with that stuff. Um, I have a spiritual EP that I'm thinking about doing that I probably won't even use the name Delio for. I'll probably use my government name for that. But it's time for me to get back to using it and putting my tool into my hands. I have keyboards, I have stuff to make music with. So why aren't I making music? What's up, Soul? How are you? Thank you, Soul, for coming by and hanging out with me. We were just talking about overcoming challenges. But if I can make something y'all can listen to, that y'all can vibe with, then my job is done. If I can make new stuff that y'all can enjoy that and encourage you or motivate you to be creative yourself, then my job is done. And I want to keep doing that because I may not have uh, a lot of notoriety. Right? I know a lot of people say they know me. I know I have that. I'm just not. I think people know me, but I'm not like famous. But I'm so happy that you all are here. That says, "Hey, man, I've heard your stuff. I vibe with it. Good, because I want to vibe some more. I want that to continue. You know how you ever notice how good artists stop making music? I don't want to be that artist that's not making music anymore. Like case in point, Andre 3000. Andre 3000, he's making music, but he ain't the making the music that we all, let me talk about that love. We'll talk about that after I talk about Andre 3000. Andre 3000 is Andre 3000 doesn't make music like how he used to. Um, but he does make music. All right, right, sound. Do your thing and catch up fast. He doesn't make music like how he used to. And I hope that he does another rap album. I think he's afraid of the criticism that he's going to get when he does another rap album because we're in such a critical culture right now. We are so taking things apart and just demolishing things now creatively right now. It's just that culture, and when you know that the culture is like that, you don't want to put nothing out. You don't want to put nothing out because it's like, why put this out if people go? And then I don't like that he's aged himself out of hip hop because he says like I don't want to be over 40 rapping. I'm like, dude, that's art. Why is rap the only thing that you can be only too old to do for? Why painting? There are people probably in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s that are painting. There's rock and roll on them rock and roll acts. They're older than a mug, and they are getting it. Ozzy can barely sing. And they want to see that. They want to see that. Anderson, Alice in Chains, they older than your grandpa out there on stage, stadium full. So culturally on hip hop, I think R&B there's a little bit more room there, which I'm like yes, because I am R&B, even though I do like to rap sometimes. I haven't done it in a while, but they vibe with it. So you had a piano, like so you don't know why you listen so much live guests. I always want to study music when I listen to it. Well, always come back to it. Touch that keyboard if you need to. Love Matters. You say your bro is in a similar situation. He literally has a studio in his house and rather use it. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. A lot of people look at me and say, "Man, Delio, how can you complain? You have so much stuff. How in the hell can you complain about anything?" And no, it's not a good feeling to feel like you can't make music because it's a bad feeling to have everything you need to make music and still not do it, which means there are other problems that you can't see that the individual is at war with, that everybody in their own time has to navigate and overcome. They can't just turn on the NPC and go if they got other mental issues going on. I had a lot of mental issues going on with this job that people were not able to understand. Okay? And if you got other wars that you're fighting, you, a lot of times, a lot of times, it can distract you from being creative because when you're making music, you have to be in a settled place sometimes. Other times, though, you could use it as a tool to motivate you to the music to create. Sometimes you got to sing about pain. Sometimes you got to sing about heartbreak and losing your love, and you got to deal with that. You got to sing about not fitting in. You got to sing about being treated differently from other people that look just like you, but because you're this position, you're not that position, you get treated differently. I got to use music as a tool again for me, but you need space to do it. You got to have space to create. Mental space. I'm telling you, when the vibe is kicking, all you need is a desk and a laptop and some headphones. You can do that. But you got to have mental space. You got to have certain closure in some things. Crystal Lamont, your style fits. Yara, Tony Braxton, A. Marie. A big axe. So, what's up, Ace? Honestly, some of these old heads don't gotta like that because they would be putting out work like Soldier Boy and Lil B. I get it. I think there's an audience for everything. There's an audience for me. And it is a constant work to do that. And it's hard to do that if you're not in the right space. You got some other issues you need to take care of and sort out inside so you can create. So you say, what are your thoughts on sync? I think sync licensing is great, but it takes pursuing, it takes focus, it takes resources, it takes time, it takes discipline. And yes. Let's put it this way. So I need to try again. I've tried and ran into a lot of failures with it. I've allowed myself. Listen to how I'm talking because I'm not trying to blame the world. So I'm going to speak into it in a way that's very transparent and makes me hopefully more relatable, but probably will make me look bad. I've tried, but I allowed to get distracted by my day job. I've tried, but I allowed to get myself distracted by what people say. I've tried sync and trying to get pursuing it, licensing, but allowed myself to get frustrated and distracted. I've tried sync and licensing, but I took on too many projects at the same time. I was not organized with my time. I allowed myself to be distracted by video games. PS5. I literally got a PS5 last Christmas on a whim because it was super cheap. And I was like, And now I remember why I don't keep next gen game consoles because I used to play them all the time. And oh yeah, by the way, I have a gaming PC too. So now I have more games than I need to do anyway. So, yes, be aware. Hey, I'm off track with sync and licensing, but I'm willing to try again and not stop. But it's going to take discipline on my part to focus on that, pursue that, network on that, correspond on that, and fight for that. But I will have to take other things out of my life to make space and time for that. So, hard the syncing and licensing is hard until you finally do it. And it's not a one size fits all thing, because some people say, "Oh, just follow me and do what I say and you can sing too." To a certain degree that is true, but everybody has to find their own path that works for them. And sometimes that path is just them fixing whatever's wrong with them or their issues or mental or things like that. Like even tonight, I came on here to stream because it's like, wow, what if I just got on here and started talking about some things, some cool topics? And even at that point, before I hit start on the stream, I had fears of, okay, ain't nobody want to see what I got to say. My channel doesn't do like how I used to. Lil B, the bass god, has a lot of great music in common. That's good. That's good. Like I said, you got to have music that talks about the good and the bad. I have a lot of music talking about the bad, and I have a lot of music talking about the good too. I just have a lot of music that I know I have been keeping to myself for far way too long, and I am aware of it now, and I need to change. And Tony, you want me to make an R. Kelly type beat video? Is that what you're asking? I see you just typed that. I'm just trying to get clarification. And I have to imagine it's a pain. It's a pain to type on these phones. Is it? Are you guys on your phones or on your computers? Hey, Yellow, how are you? I know I hate typing on my phone. Unless I'm always misspelling stuff. I'm typing it wrong. Ugh. Well, Antonio, well, do you want to see like a tutorial how to make a R. Kelly type beat, or just see a beat on my beat channel? What's up, Ken? You let me know. Yeah, so maybe I should stream vertical. There's ways to stream vertical, but phone, okay, yeah. So there's ways to stream vertical. I hope the audio's coming through nice for you guys. Check, check, check. 1, 2, check, check, check. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Turn the other one up. 1, 2, check, check, check. Check, 1, 2. Yeah, get that test tone together. But yeah, there's a lot of work I need to do to be more consistent, to do more content, more opportunities. Yeah, that's true, Antonio. So yeah, I let a lot of life be happening, but I think sometimes I let a lot of life happen that kind of got me off my game with content creation, because I've never transitioned into full-time YouTubership, and I don't even think anybody should transition on YouTube unless you stack that much bread. I don't think I would ever. If I'm surviving month to month off of YouTube, I don't think that's where it's to stop. If you're on YouTube and you're able to survive, create income, and stack up to 6 months of YouTube income from YouTube, then I would transition. What's been going on in my life? Well, I don't know if I'm ready to talk about everything that's going on in my life, but I will say that I'm probably going to have a little bit more time on my hands than I'm used to having. And I'm in the middle of a transition from one sort of lifestyle I've lived over the past few years to another. And in that time of the transition, I got to do a lot of work to fortify myself. But I'm going to be in a position where I have to really become focused and disciplined with my time. Right? Yeah, I mean, I've lingered, I've lurked, but I have been just. Man, I tell you, maybe you can maybe you can relate. Oh, thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. I'm just glad to hear from you. Maybe you can relate, man. You ever have a situation in your life and you trying to figure out how is this going to go? How is this going to turn out? Where are we going? What are we doing? How the hell do I got drop frames on this thing? The computer's supposed to run perfectly. I don't understand this. Anyway, have you ever had a situation in your life where you want to know how's this going to go? It's existing in your life, right? It has to be a part of your life. You can't just cut it off. And you trying to figure out, okay, what's going on? You've heard rumors of things changing. Oh man. You hear rumors of things changing. I'm going to take my time here. Can I take my time? Nobody you ask wants to give you definite answers about what's going to happen that affects you. And it's been going on for a long time. You're trying to find solid ground where you can have just a little bit of accountability with someone that you're dealing with. Right? I see what you're saying, Ken. You're in a situation right now. Yeah. And then finally the information comes that says, okay, this is over with. This is done. So now you got two sides of the coin that you're dealing with. You got two sides of the dollar. Here's my illustration. You got two sides of the dollar right here, right? You've had this murky gray, where the hell are the lines at? You don't even know what's going to happen. But then that finally happens. Okay, this is about to be over. So on the one side of the coin or dollar, you have stress and fear because now you're facing uncertainty and unknown. As long as you had that messed up gray situation in your life, you became familiar with it. You became familiar with it. It's not changing. Oh, I know how this is going to go. I know how to navigate, or I know where to shut down at so I can get through this part. I know where to speak up here at. Oh, I know where they're not listening here. You got used to the BS. And then it's gone. And it's like, well, what am I doing? But then on the other side of the dollar, you feel relieved. You feel like, oof, that burden's not on my shoulders anymore. Now you trade for a new burden. But that old burden that's been on your shoulders for a while is gone. And you're now free from it. You're free from that old burden that you maybe could have got thrown off your shoulders, but you know, it wasn't the wisest choice, but you had to kind of let that be on your shoulders for a while. And you got used to that burden. You got used, your body got acclimated, just like in the weight room. You're in that weight room, and that 100 pounds was tough. Now you used to it. You throwing it around, but you've been, in order to get to where you could throw around that 100 pounds around, it took you some time to get to that point. And now you just got the barbell. You just got the bar with no weights on it. Feels mad weird. Yeah, Antonio. Strength. Keep going. Yeah. Machine tutorials. So Christopher, you use machine? Use machine? Yeah, so yeah, you feel relieved that the traps and pitfalls that you had to face that nobody understood is over with. But the benefits of dealing with those traps and pitfalls are also gone too. So now you're thinking, okay, how do we turn this corner now? That burden I was benefiting from is gone. I still got my machine over here. Maybe I should fire it up. Let me see. That's an old conversation I had at machine. Maybe I should fire it up. I'm speaking so bad about MK machines and stuff like that. But if we got machine users, man, I want to show them love some kind of way. I wonder how can I show machine users some love? If they want tutorials or at least talk about it or maybe get acquainted with it. Because there are still people out there that use it. And I used to be a big machine user. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. I was a big machine user. I used the hell out of machine. big and G. That's coming out. Get ready. I'm not playing. I'm not playing you, man. Trust me. This is about the. I got to get that song out so I can make more music. I can't be making more music when I got all the stuff that ain't done yet. Yeah, I need to make some presets for uh Serum. Yeah, I couldn't be productive having so many options to produce tracks on. I think that when you have too many options to produce tracks on, oh, I think I'll use Machine. Oh, I think I'll use FL Studio. Oh, I think it's coming out at least more closer to coming out than ever before. So if I can think of a way to, because it's put away. I'm not going to front you. My machine is put away. It's preserved, so it's in great condition. I put it away properly, but it's a. I see there's a need out there to still talk about it. If that could be something I talk about on my new channel too. So if you haven't subscribed to Dilio Knows Music, make sure you do that because I'm trying to see if I can build a more focused channel that's more on reviews and tutorials. So hopefully that can kind of work with the algorithmic a little better. I don't know if they gave up on Machine. That would piss me off. I don't know if they gave up on Machine. Yeah, we gonna keep going with the jams. I got all kinds of jams I want to do. Well, y'all, my audience, if y'all want to see it, I'm trying to think what can I do strategically to talk about Machine. I need a way. I need a way to hook it up, use it, teach it, and then put it away so it's not just sitting there. Because that's why I put it up because it was just sitting there. And a lot of times when stuff just sits, it just gets a little damaged. It's just weird. It's like dust just messed stuff up. I can't tell you that the MPC studio is better because everybody has their own workflow. We can't cut it so simple. The situation, music producer equipment connection is never a simple thing and never a one size fits all for all individuals. But if you guys want to see it, is the music scene in Atlanta worth? I think it is once you figure out where you fit in it. It's such a diverse everything everywhere that it can be overwhelming. I think that the Atlanta music scene, I'll show y'all. I'm going to keep talking about that though. I think that the Atlanta music scene is great so long as you have your bases covered. So this is my MK3. And I put it up with the intention of it not going through bad things. Because like I said, a lot of equipment just, if you don't put it up right, it gets destroyed. It's just, I've had enough experience to know. But yeah, this is my machine. And the studio, I don't know if my studio is, what's up, Track? I don't know if I want to touch my MPC machine studio. But I'll think of something. I'll have to think of something to do to demonstrate it for you in an efficient way that enables me to put it up, maybe talk about it, but I can't leave everything out all over the place anymore. It just gets so messy. You trying to sell your MPC studio? Trying to get rid of that thing? What's up, Aaron? It just gets so messy. Like I said, you see this equipment, this is cool and all, but the only problem is that if you don't put stuff up, it gets really messy. And when it gets really messy, it gets very distracting. And when it gets very distracting, you're not doing the work you need to do. Finishing tracks, sending out emails, networking, calling people, live streaming, making YouTube videos. So Tragic, what do you use? So, Christopher, you believe that there are a lot of newcomers coming to the machine platform? Like I said, if I can contribute to you and the other users, that's a good enough reason for me to break it out. But would I lie to you and say, hey, is that what I use? No, but that doesn't mean you can't use it. That don't mean you can't cook with it. Gotta be flexible. You gotta be flexible. I come from a rigid, I gotta use it. I gotta be flexible with it because it may help somebody. You may want to buy a loop kit from me if I help you out the machine or something. I don't know. But if there's machine users out there that want to talk about machine, let's talk about it. Because I don't hate it. Not liking not liking is not the same as hate. So don't take my dislike as ugh, I hate you. No. I had to you understand what I'm saying? You got to land somewhere so you can go to work. I'll do a beat making video if that's what y'all want to see. I got a Native Instruments account. If that's what y'all want to see. You know? Yeah. That's what it's about. Yeah. You know what? Maybe I need to relearn it. You know, how do you use this thing? If you haven't used it in a while. And okay, scenario. You were called to produce a track in a studio and they don't have the tools that you use, but they have a machine. And the client says, hey, can you use this? And we'll pay you to use that machine, but all we got is machine. We'll pay you $1,000, $2,000 for a track, but you got to do a machine. I'm going to say yes. K-pop. I haven't touched on K-pop. I haven't seen a lot of producers touch on K-pop. But K-pop is relevant. So, who knows? Maybe K-pop videos will get me some K-pop work. You mean use your complete controller instead of machine? Yeah. Because I got complete. I got complete. So, yeah. I mean, we got to talk about it. What's the most efficient way? I think a good efficient way to use machine is to have templates. Okay, Trackett, I appreciate that feedback. I appreciate that feedback. I appreciate that feedback. Yeah, I know K-pop is something I've always been interested in, but I haven't really dig that deep into. I think MPC 37 is dope too. I like that. I think that's the best of both worlds as far as portability. But nothing's more portable than the SP404. See, none of y'all talked about the SP404. Ain't no SP404 users in here, but there's a lot of them out there. And you want to know something about the Atlanta scene with producers? Mad cats are carrying around SP404s like they're Bibles out here, dude. They are walking around them things like, yeah, man, I got my SP404. I mean, they are just doing, and it's so versatile out in the field, like the headphone jacks and all this other stuff. In the transition, that's what I'm saying. That's the best. I guess that's the best way to put it. I'm in a transition without telling all your business. No keys. Yeah, without telling all your business. You know, if you come from a family like we don't tell all our business. Clean and tight. Well, that goes, Tanner, that goes into Studio One videos. That goes to the Studio One videos. You know, that's a big deal. Mixing records is on thing. See, here's the thing. Like, I mix as I make the beat. And I don't really EQ much like how I used to. Because I think I'm more of a balance guy. If I produce with good sounds, there's less work to do down the stream. And I wound up producing it for his TV, so Tubi on Amazon. Well, damn, tragic. That's a hell of a story. No, Bobby, we got the point. That's dope. So yeah, there are things are still possible. Like, I think for me, I've gotten a little discouraged because of how long it's taken me to achieve certain things, and then when you work a certain type of 9 to 5 that just and you don't fortify against it, it just messes with your mind, and it makes you feel a certain type of way that you shouldn't allow it to make you feel. But if I could just learn how to just pursue just a little bit more, or at least get back on this content, maybe something good will happen. Maybe some more people want to listen to my music. Maybe I could sell some CDs. I have been gigging. And you know what? Can I be honest with you there on the gigging? Like, I was like recording my vlogs on gigging, and I would get discouraged because the gigging vlogs didn't get that many views. I'm like, man, because I see people on here. They're on my channel. Gigging vlogs, they're on my channel. And it wouldn't get many views. So I'm like, dang, I guess people don't want to see it. But I think there's some stuff wrong on my channel. I've talked about this a million times. I might as well talk about it again. I think there's stuff wrong on my channel. I collaborate from time to time. I'd like to collaborate more. I'd have to plan it. And that's another thing. So I have a lot of great ideas. And because I worked it around a 9 to 5 on my own stuff, and I'm also going to the gym, and I'm also doing I manage my time. I need to manage my time better. But yeah, it gets discouraging. Like if I did like a really transparent vlog of gigging, hey, we're setting up here. What's up, dudes? What up, my guy? What's up, chat? But if we can find efficient ways to collab, I think that'd be really good. I think probably the most easiest way to collab is like, say, I drop an instrumental or I drop a vocal track, and then you take it and you do your thing with it. And maybe I could do a remix contest for my latest EP, and maybe the winner gets a $25 Amazon gift card. I think that would be fun. Somebody could get $25 for free. You're doing this on your Timberland. So tragic. Yeah, you bring a great point. That's why I'm starting it. That's why I started a new channel. But the thing is, with these channels, you got to put content up. But I have started a new channel. I'll put the link down if y'all want to subscribe to it. Now, this channel is mainly tutorials, plugin reviews, music production stuff. So the music stuff and the covers and remakes will not be on this channel because I want it to be very focused algorithmically, so I can't do a lot of stuff. I'm getting a link right now, y'all. It's called Dilio Knows Music. And this channel is about basically music production, but just that. Like, I'm not going to be doing everything. So with this channel the Dilio T2K channel, what I've done on this channel, I've done everything on this channel, right? So these are plugin reviews and tutorials, right? But this channel is just that because Tanner, I agree with you on that. You tend to like gospel more. To me, you can put your heart into it. Yeah. And I want to make some gospel music too. I haven't did it in a long time, and I want to do some. I think it's time. I got to put a little Bible on it, just a little bit for me. There's my channel right there. Please subscribe. So I thought about a remake channel only and testing that out. So Did I put that out already? Let me see. Yeah, because the remakes were over it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you want to subscribe to Dylan on Music, that's going to be strictly a review, plug-in review tutorial. We go keep it very niche, very tight, and I got to do 30 videos. Very niche, very tight, so the algorithm can do what it's going to do. And you know how to make beats like that. That's a good tutorial. That's a tutorial that can go on there, but it has to be because, like, real talk. Like, I'll be honest with y'all, and I'm not trying to. This is just me, just being transparent and vulnerable, right? I've done so much shit on my channel. YouTube don't know what to do with it. God. Oh, God. I almost wanted to cry. Yeah, it's a tutorial. I know that UAD makes some good hardware. I ain't gonna front you. But yeah. If y'all tell me what y'all want on the channel when it comes to tutorials and reviews, that's all it's gonna be. I'm not gonna be doing every damn. That's the problem. I've done everything on this channel for too long. YouTube don't know who to show it to. Subscribers don't know what they gonna get. And my gut is telling me that it hurts me more than it helps me. You know? Ooh, let me just I'm just taking a breath. Because it's taking a long time for me to get to that conclusion. Like, for example, there's this guy called Sal on YouTube. He's a guy that was 700 pounds. And of course, he's blown up because he's 700 pounds. And all he's talking about is losing weight and trying to lose weight. And he can barely. And see, people want to look at that because, man, this dude is 700 pounds, man. What the hell is going on with this guy? You know, people like to watch stuff that it is true, EJ. I'm trying to get into my thoughts right right? So this guy is 700 pounds. People, and I see it on TikTok. Have you ever been on TikTok and you're just scrolling and then boom, you see somebody with a physical condition. You're like, whoa. And they just smiling there like, they could be missing an arm or an eyeball or have 3 breasts or no hair or they double albino or something. And then you just, they could be missing a mouth. Anybody, even on Instagram. Oh, that beat. I still got that beat, Madden. Damn. I still got that beat somewhere. No, but I'm just saying, people want to. People. Because what happens is they say, dude, look at this person. They only got 1 eyeball. And it just. But it's just one thing. Like, I don't remember that TikTok. There's this lady, and she did the same dance to the same song in like 50 different outfits. And she just spins around, and it's that song. And people just be on their phone in bed like. So But it's just one thing. It's just one thing. So, and there's channels for that. So, like I said, I retooling, adapting. If the algorithm needs to be more efficient, I got to teach the algorithm how to move my new channel. Okay. That's what I'm saying. A channel that's only remakes. That's what I'm saying. Only that. Only that. Because, yeah, I could do a remake on here and actually want to do boots on the ground. But like I said, the algorithm don't know where to put me. And I know probably a lot of you probably might have found me on remakes anyway, or something like that, or some tutorial, or if you go way back to Talk Box. Man, I didn't. That might land into the remakes. That could go too. The great ideas. All these are great ideas. But I just want to create a channel that is known for that. Because you go ask people, hey man, what you know Dilio for from YouTube? I know him from Talk Box. I know him from Soldier Boy. I know him from Remakes. I know him from Autotune. Oh, and that's not necessarily the most efficient. Yeah. So I'm not mad, but I do got to make changes. But the fact that you all are here is a blessing to me. Finding a lane. Yeah, you got to find your lane. You got to find your lane that you can live with, that fits you, and that you can just hammer down. Because the audience will grow. If you're that and you're consistent, the audience will grow. You got to put your time in. But if you hammer that lane, wow, really 2 of them. Okay, that's what we're doing. You got to hammer that lane and hammer it down. You understand what I'm saying? So that means that if I'm hammering on tutorials and reviews of plugins, that I don't go out and do a vlogging video of me on a kayak. Yeah, I know Georgia Muscle. I actually got to hit him up. What did they think the name mean? Yeah, so if you subscribe to my new channel, I'll post it again. It's Dilio Knows Music. Tutorials and reviews only. But if you guys at least engage with it and see it, and maybe the notification will work better too. Change your mind. That cute shorts too and all that stuff. My stomach is growling. But yeah, it's all good, y'all. It's all good. Caught up to live. You didn't caught up. You didn't fast forward all the way. That's dedication right there. I need to get my sound effects back. I done lost my sound effects. I got this whole stream deck. See, I'm so discombobulated. I got this whole stream deck that I ain't got working right. I don't even know why it's not even working right. Look at that. I paid too much money for this thing not to be working. Yeah. Oh man. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. So yeah, a lot of good stuff. I need to do that too. But I appreciate y'all for sharing. Make sure y'all subscribe to the new channel because I want to monetize it. So I got to get it at least 500 subscribers and 1,000 hours of watch time. And with your help, I can do it. And if y'all want to talk about, this, BJ, I feel you. You know, prior video would be why I'm breaking this back out. And I could talk about, okay, how do you install the software for this? Maybe I could do a video on that, right? I do have a Discord, and I need to get back on it. I got official Dilio T2K Discord, but I need to be back on Discord. Yeah. Thank y'all so much for subscribing to the new channel. I think we're gonna call it a night right there. And build from there. As I like to say, go from there. All right. But y'all stay safe. Thank y'all so much for coming through. I'm gonna just chill out a little bit. Get ready for tomorrow. Build from there, all right? Y'all take care of yourselves. Thank y'all for subscribing to my new channel. We out. Peace out. Thank y'all so much for subscribing. I'm gone. Time to get some sleep. All right.